Life looks a little bit different right now in Hampton. So the kids are wearing masks, teachers are wearing masks. We have very minimal traffic in the hallways, and when the kids are in the hallway, they're told to stay 6 feet apart. Teachers are always monitoring that to make sure that it's safe. We are limited in our bathroom use at this point in time, so we have one person allowed in each bathroom at a time. The other stalls and the other sinks are actually closed off, so they can't be used, which helps to minimize some of the traffic in there, and it makes for easier cleaning. We also will consistently see custodians come around and they're washing the doorknobs, they're washing the handrails, so that happens a few times a day as well.
Everyone has had to step outside their comfort zone. I have teachers who normally would be classroom teachers teaching full remote or hybrid. I have interventionists who are working with kids at school and at home. Integrated arts teachers, if you want to talk about growth or stepping out of your comfort zone, they teach students who are live in our school every day. They also teach the full remote kids live online every day, and they post asynchronous activities and lessons for students on their hybrid days. So aside from classroom teachers, integrated arts and interventionists teach hybrid, full remote, and in-school students all over the course of a week. And that's been a tremendous change for a lot of our staff.
I really think the vision of what they had was so smart in terms of being able to keep us in school and consistently in school. And to err on the side of caution to begin with and not have everyone come back and have us be in this hybrid model, because it's allowed us to stay much more consistent throughout the year. We haven't had to go out and come back and go out and come back as a school.
Our communication tools with parents, I believe, have been exceptional. I know that I spend more time preparing updates on my classroom, preparing updates on what's to come than I ever have in the past. And that is to make sure that the triad between parent, student, and teacher is as effective and as tight as it can possibly be.
We have a word here for our teachers, and we call them rock stars, because I really truly believe what they have done over the course of the last 5.5 months is truly noteworthy and heroic. Since September 8th until today's date, we've had the opportunity to have our students in the building and start to form those relationships which are key to learning. If you don't feel comfortable, you don't feel safe, learning doesn't always happen. And so I have to say that our teachers have done a wonderful job of that, even when there's kids who are fully remote.
It's just a matter of taking every lesson and saying, what is safe, what can we do with this in the confines of these COVID rules or the CDC guidelines. And that is an everyday challenge, especially when you realize that students learn really well cooperatively. So it's just like making minor compensations throughout the day.
We know how important building a school community is, because we want kids to feel safe and comfortable at school, because we know that if they don't feel safe and comfortable, they can't learn. And I think that what this pandemic has done is, while it's been isolating to some extent and people are more separated, it's also brought us together as a school and a district and help us really boil things down to what's the most important thing we're doing, and that's taking care of the kids.
I will say everything is new about the way that I'm teaching. So other than the competencies that I'm required to teach by the state of New Hampshire, and I've been teaching for over 20 years, everything besides those competencies, which hasn't moved, is brand new to my curriculum. So the way that the content has to be delivered is, of course, very different. Some of my favorite things about teaching is the interaction that the kids have with each other and that I have with them. That physical interaction can't happen anymore. And it took me a while to sort of mourn the loss of that, because that interpersonal connection is what I absolutely love about my job. But I think that as an instructor, we mourn that loss, and then we recover and we think about what can we do differently that's going to have the same kind of impact.
We're looking at essential standards, the standards that what every child needs to know and be able to do by the end of a grade level. That has been the critical component of our planning, to make sure that we're meeting those essential standards. No matter what the setting is, we have an obligation and responsibility to make sure that students are progressing on their path of learning.
They lost a lot of their year last year. We were working full remote, but we know that it's different than what it is now. So our goal really has been to meet kids exactly where they're at, and any sort of growth is positive. We know that not all students are going to be at the same point at all times, but as long as kids are moving in the right pathway and right trajectory, that's a good thing. So we've been using informal and formal data in the school to look at students and make sure they're still where they're at. There's room to go, there's work to be done, but students are happy, they're at school, they're doing well, they're performing well academically, and it's just how do we keep that momentum going?
It was difficult at first because we had to make a plan as to what we needed to cover earlier on. So in the big scheme of things, we're technically behind, right? Which is like where everyone panics, but it's because we went back to March and where we would have been at March when we were really just trying to make sure that they were keeping the learning that we'd already done instead of incorporating new learning. So we redid a lot of units and a lot of different concepts that we wanted to make sure they had completely for foundational skills ahead of time. So that took a little bit more time in the beginning. We wanted to make sure they were, comfortable in reading and writing workshop, building stamina, all of those things that they hadn't been doing for a really long time because things were so different in full remote learning. So that's where I think the one behind is. Otherwise, we're going through our curriculum at a pretty normal pace.
We had some baseline testing at the beginning of the year for academics. We're using that baseline testing to start planning our curriculum of where they were coming into each grade level. And right now we're in the middle of looking at mid-year data to see where we are as far as growth into the mid-year. And we'll adjust curriculum and we'll adjust pacing to make sure that every student has their path of progress structured out for them so they can continue on an excellent path of learning.
So when we look at, the data and we see that there is growth, it encourages us. It's exciting as teachers. We're working very hard to at least try even to see a little. So it's just been exciting and motivating for us and for the kiddos. It's they feel it, and I think they get excited. And as an online teacher, when I see something click even through a screen, knowing that, the teamwork that went into getting them there, it's huge.
Especially at the middle school level, we're talking about young adolescent learners. For them, growth is so multifaceted. They are learning how to grow into these, strange bodies that they're developing. Their minds are in a million places, socially, academically, in their sports, in their homes. And so growth looks a little bit different here. The teachers are working very hard to find the growth in them that is academic, but also something else. And truly, if we can leave this year knowing that we have grown a piece of them in terms of their life skills that we've probably never been able to teach them before, that's something that we all need to acknowledge.
Obviously, this is a challenge and a struggle for families and staff and students. But, through all the negativity and all the challenges that we've had with COVID, we see students that they may have been shy and reserved in the classroom, but in their hybrid model online, they're really finding out who they are. Kids have an opportunity now because our schedule, they can be reflective. They can put some more time into assignments. So as much as we've struggled to learn this new way of learning, I see boys and girls who are thriving and flourishing. And for those students that are challenging, that have challenges, we are still providing our Tier 2 and Tier 3 interventions.
We know it's not what everyone wants. It's not 5 days of live instruction, but 2 days of live instruction and 2.5 days of live and asynchronous combined is better for kids than full remote all the time, every day. So, it's just thank you to the community and to continue to support us and have the patience and understanding to realize that this is a lot different, but our teachers are working their tails off and they're trying to do absolutely what's best for kids each and every day.
I hope the public knows that, we see them and we can validate their feelings about this year and also the efforts that they're putting in at home. But I also hope that they see ours and how hard we're working for the children of Hampton. and just that we're trying our hardest and that we miss a normal year also, but we'll get there.
I really feel that we're doing a really, really good job through difficult times, offering a well-rounded education and looking at the whole child. I really believe that. So we've shifted a little bit of what we're doing here in the schools, but we're still teaching and learning. The students are still walking away with a quality education.
I think, you know what the success story is? We love to teach. The kids love to learn, and you know what? That's still happening.
I think that this year takes at least 4 times the time commitment as a normal teaching year. We're all coming in early, we're all staying in late. We really care about the kids in our community, and we want to make sure that they succeed.
As a parent of 2 children in this district, I have the same fears that every parent has. I had the same fears of them coming in. I had the same fears of them not getting enough. I had the same fears of them falling behind. And I carry with me as a parent and as a teacher the worry for not just my own children, but for every child that I teach every single day. And this is hard work. It's beyond anything I ever expected that I would be able to do when I entered this career decades ago. It is a whole new world for us. It is 200% time. It is morning, it is noon, it is night. And it might not be the best year ever, but it's going to be pretty darn good.